I think part of our profession is like being honest and being candid of like, there are times where I doubt myself.
What did your morning routine entail growing up as it pertained to practice and when you were waking up?
Yeah, so when I turned 16, I had a car, and that's when I started my waking up at 5:45, 5:30, coming to the gym at 6:15. I love walking into an empty gym and being the first person to turn the lights on. Like that feeling is hard to describe because this is like, this is my life. It's what I've always wanted to do, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
That's when I knew he was gonna make it, because I didn't have to wake him up. I'm not a morning person. I joke with him and I'm like, listen, if God didn't raise the sun yet, then clearly he don't want me up. I'm not getting up when it's still dark outside. I didn't have to push him. That was something he wanted to do.
Well, there was always this idea that somebody was working harder than me, or when I wasn't working out, somebody else was, somebody in New York, somebody in LA. There was a handful of times I overslept, and those are like the worst days of my high school career, of the sense of like, I just felt terrible all day. My opportunity of my dream may have slipped away. And I think that level of fear really helped me get to this point.
You said once there have been times where I questioned, am I the right person to kind of lead a group like this? Explain that.
Yeah, and that was at the beginning of this year, I kind of felt that way.
Why?
I was 23, playing for the biggest franchise in the NBA, with the expectations of being the best player, being the best leader, being the best teammate, and being a guy that can take a team to a championship. The doubt came from, you work so hard to get to this point, and you work so hard to be the best player you can be, and everybody's been there where it's like, it's just not going how you thought it would go. And that can be a little discouraging sometimes, because everything that I have, I'm giving it to this game and my team. And we were like 4 games under 500, and it was just like the toughest start to a season that I've had. And I think part of our profession is like being honest and being candid of like, there are times where I doubt myself in those moments. It's not long.
And the doubts are what?
You think about, can I be the best player on a championship team? Because not many guys can. And, it's only the best of the best of the best. But that's what I aspire to be. And there were moments after games where I was like, this is just not working. But I think I've always stayed with it. I'm human. I have those raw emotions of thoughts and things that go to my head.
I read somewhere that you have the tendency to like suffer in silence. Any truth to that?
I'm big on like figuring it out, right? In my mind, it's like, what's the point of me throwing my problems on other people?
Yeah.
Everybody has their own problems, right? And growing up, my idea of being a man was figuring it out, right? Nobody's gonna feel bad for you. Everybody's gonna help you out. You have to have the mindset of like, I need to figure this out. I need to get it done. And that's how like my mindset, right or wrong, that's just how I thought.
Explain the texts that your mom will send you sometimes during NBA games.
Not so much this past year, because I told her like, I don't look at my phone at halftime anymore. Because there was times my first 3-4 years in the league where I might not be as aggressive as I should be, or I got 7 points at halftime, and she watches every game, never misses a game. Especially on the road. She'll send me these long messages. You need to do this, you're not doing this. If this how you gonna play, me and Deuce will watch something else, we'll watch a movie.
If you're not gonna play, I can go home. Deuce can go to bed. It's late, like, if you're not gonna, give a good effort, but it was all meant to just light a little fire up under and motivate him. And
then at the end of the game, I have 40, and I'm like, Ma, it's 2 halves to every game. You just gotta relax. She was like, well, if you play like this in the first half, you could have scored 80. I'm like, Ma, that's not how it works.
It's kind of what Coach K would do as
he
well, right?
plays better when he's mad.
And why is that?
I have no idea, but it's always been that way. Why somebody gotta piss you off to get this out of you, but it's all a part of the, maturation.